Good morning. Today is June 3rd, Tuesday, and we're in the process of cleaning up after our paint adventure here in the garage. You can yesterday I spent probably 5 hours, 4 or 5 hours cleaning this. I would call it center bay. You notice there's lines in the floor. You know, the lines that they make for after they pour the concrete, they cut lines in the floor to eliminate cracks, and that's kind of the way I delineated what I was going to clean yesterday. There's a line here, right about 2.5 inches to the right of the tape line, the blue tape line, and there's another line over here. You see it here? So I went from line to line, and I went from the door, the garage door here, up to that cabinet. I cleaned that yesterday. It probably took me, like I say, 4 to 5 hours. And I'm using these two mops, the yellow one as a rinse mop, and the one with the red handle as a cleaning mop. And I'm using, what I'm doing is I'm using that Zep cleaner. I think it's called a citrus cleaner or something like that. Using a bucket. You see that bucket over there with the oil drain thing on top of it? Two of those buckets. Both with hot water right out of the faucet, hottest it comes out of the faucet. One for rinsing and one with about a cup of that cleaner in it. And then I'm also using what I had was some pads that were already cut. I'm going to do some more today. I can't think of the name of Scotch-Brite, the purple Scotch-Brite. So what I do is put the spray with the spray bottle, spray some of the cleaner on the Scotch-Brite, put the cleaner down, and then put the mop on top of it and use it like a scrub. Tomorrow I will do the last third, which is over here where the bench and the tools and the shelves are, and I'll move whatever I can. The shear is on wheels. You see the wheels under the shear. I did that purposely so I can move that around if needed. So I'll put that in the center. I'll put all this stuff back over here and move whatever is on wheels, whatever I can move over there, I'll move over into the middle and do that last. So anyway, here we go today. This is going to be another adventure, another chore, moving all this stuff, doing the floor, moving it all back. So wish me luck. If you feel like getting involved in a project, be my guest. Come over. Yeah, funny. Bye. Because the next step is to take from the line to the wall now. From this line to that wall. I'm going to do that section today, next. Which means all of this stuff that you're looking at here, from the welder back there, and there's 4 tires, the tires and spoke wheels that are going to go on this are back there in that corner. All this stuff has to get moved over to the middle so that I can do this floor. That's what that side looks like all back together. Looks way better than when I started, that's for sure. Let's see if the other side comes as good as this side. Okay, well, here's what it looks like getting this side ready. There's all the stuff from against the wall, or the wall side of the garage. This is window side of the garage, all here in the middle. It's nice, stacked pretty tightly. And here's the area all kind of cleaned out. I'm not moving that. That can happen on another time. I'll vacuum underneath it, but beyond that, I'm not doing anything there. And you see I got this all cleared out. So again, like I said, this took about 1.5 hours to get to this. as far as after I moved all the other stuff out of the middle here, put it away, hour and a half to clear this area. When I'm finished with the floor, I can deal with all of this. This part of this is from the painting. Part of it is from what I'm doing right now. So it's going to be the rest of this week for the most part before I'm done with cleaning up this garage. Hello there. Welcome back to Blue Hinds Garage. Well, today is the 12th of June. I haven't been doing much work on this lately because I've been waiting on a couple of vendors, yeah. Both the powder coating guys and the platers. I think it was last Friday or something like that. I picked up the rest of the plating stuff that I had brought down there. Most of it is right here. I put a few pieces on already, but most of it is right here. Obviously, this is paint that we painted the other day, not plating. And today I just came back from picking up the last batch of the powder coated stuff. From them, they had some employee problems. They were a little slower this time than usual. They had some employee problems. They were 3 guys short, and they got some new guys and had to play a whole bunch of catch up. So it took about, I don't know, a week and a half. Still not a long time. And so far, the only stuff I've uncovered is the rocker arm covers. You see here, that's the color we chose. That was one of the colors. There was 2 colors that we had them powder paint stuff. The engine color for pulleys and the alternator and brackets and what have you. And this other, it's kind of a gray color that we did the rocker arm covers. This is all Scott's design, the rocker arm covers, air cleaner, and I don't recall what else, is the gray. Most of it was the burgundy, they call it marugandy. So anyway, just got that back. I just put that on there so I could send a picture to Scott. Just put those on there so I can send a picture. Oh, that was the wire looms for the spark plug wires are that color. Go on the rocker arm covers. So it's pretty low key. Yeah, the bracket for the alternator is that color because it's a rather large piece that fits in here. It bolts on the water pump, it bolts on the intake manifold and supports the water pump. The alternator is also that color. So you'll see it when it's all together. But anyway, that's what we've been up to. You see, that's one of the last plated pieces that came back, that little bail on the governor cover. See, the tail shaft is back on. I got all the speedometer pieces installed in the little tail shaft there. So anyway, that's kind of what's been going on. More later. Yeah, I forgot to mention let's see, when was that? Tuesday, I think. Yes. I believe it was Tuesday. The guy was here, the fuel system guru guy was here Tuesday to do his magic on the carburetor for the Blue Hinds, and that now is an entirely different car. He changed 2 metering rods in the carburetor and the step-up springs. There's only two. The step-up springs, and I had played with those ad nauseum earlier. I bought the kit with all the springs. We tried all the different sizes. I had changed the metering rods, and I think ended up with the stock ones back in the carburetor because I could not find something that made a difference. Before he came over the phone, when I called him, before he came, he said, get 2 kits for me. Get one of the little spring kits and get a 1449 rod set of rods, metering rods. And you know, I looked on I had a list of the metering rods and jets that they prescribed to use in that carburetor. And guess what? Those metering rods, those metering rods weren't on that list. The 1449s, I think it ended up in 1447 or 1448. The 1449s were not included in the list. How he knows about those or where they're intended to be used, I don't know. But he did say when he was here, you don't know why they don't put those in the stock carburetors, because they work on everything. That 1449 metering rod works on everything. So I mean, this is a whole nother car. It drives like the old 4-speeds used to drive, where before you had to nurse it to get it to move from a dead stop. You really had to play with the throttle and the clutch and the whatever. Otherwise, it wanted to die. And now it's fun. Now you just kind of, if you're careful, you can kind of just, on level ground, you can just let the clutch out slow and it'll keep going. You know, so major difference doing those two things. And it wasn't that expensive either. The guy was quite reasonable. So really happy with that. That's a huge improvement. Now the car is fun to drive. It really is. Later. Hello there. Welcome back to Blue Heinz Garage. Today is Saturday, June 14th. That says it right there. Welcome. Anyway, today got an event to go to this afternoon. Father's Day event to go to this barbecue to go to this afternoon. So this morning, what I'm going to try and do is put that pan on and a filter in the transmission. So let's see how that goes. Okay, let's give this a shot. Scott made this little temporary, it's all tape. Temporary pan here to keep this thing from dripping with the pan removed. Okay, there's Scott's temporary pan. Get all the tape off. Now, what I've learned to do over my experience with doing mechanic work is, as often as possible, use locating studs for something like this. So I've got a bunch of bolts that have been cut off. In this case, these are 5/16 bolts that hold this on. So I'm going to put at least a couple on each side of this gasket, so that it holds it lined up while I'm trying to install the pan. Hopefully we'll get a good seal that. Okay, well, I made, where are we here? I made 3 more of these. And I've got a handful of these to put the pan on. 5/16 18 by 3/4 inch bolts to put the pan on. And I'm not using lock washers. I'm going to use the, whatever these are, SAE or AN? No, SAE, I think, washers. I'm not using the washer head bolts that came with it because they're not gold. So I'm using these. And the SAE washer, and instead of a lock washer, I'm going to use blue Loctite on the threads. Here goes. looks good. That ought to work. I should be able to get all those lined up. Okay, well, I know they sandblast these parts before they powder paint them. So just to be on the safe side, I'm going to clean the inside of that pan, make sure there's no sand in it, no fine grit in it, before I put it on the transmission. That's better. Not perfect, but it's about 2 or 3 times as clean as when I started. Now you can see that Scott has welded a plug. I don't know what you're looking at here, I can't see. Scott has welded a plug on the into this pan so that next time we need to drain it, we can do that without having to wear the fluid. So, my blue Loctite is no longer extending up past the top, so I'm going to have to put it on there, on the threads with a little screwdriver. Let's start. Okay. Oops. Sorry, I forgot to turn you around. Sorry, I've been putting all these bolts in and you've been looking at the workbench. Sorry about that. You know what? I'm going to turn you off here for a second, and I got to go cut 2 of these bolts there. The ones that I'm using are 3/4 of an inch long, and there's 1 interference on this pan, and that's right at the back. There's 2 bolts, and I need to shorten them to 5/8. I need to take an 1/8 inch off of 2 of them. That's what the factory ones were. Okay, let's put these last 2 bolts in. Okay, well, I think that wraps it up here for today. Like I said, we have a event to go to at 4 today. It's right now, it's 2, roughly. So you see what I've done here is prepared for tomorrow. I think tomorrow we're going to install this and hopefully this. See, I put that all back together yesterday. I took it all apart, hollowed it out completely, and sent it to the powder coater to do it was chrome. And we're trying to do everything kind of, very, very plain here. So we wanted this to match the color of the engine instead of being contrasting to it. So I sent this up to the powder coater, took it all apart, sent it up there, put it all back together yesterday. Hopefully it works. So the plan is hopefully to install that tomorrow along with the manifold and the water pump. Maybe we can put the gooseneck, whatever you want to call that, the thermostat housing, whatever, water outlet on there too. Maybe the coil bracket can go on the manifold and the coil. We'll see. I got to assemble, maybe if I have a little more time today, I got probably at least another hour. I can put the solenoid back on the starter. So that's ready to hang. So like I've got all the bolts that I took off of the manifold and the water pump. I got them all picked out, the right ones, and they're in that box. You saw the manifold and the water pumps right there. Yeah, okay, so hopefully we'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye. Well, hello there. Welcome back to Blue Heinz Garage. Today is Sunday, Father's Day, Sunday 15th, I think. As you can see, I have this all ready to install the manifold. The gaskets are on there. Got the RTV on the ends. Got gasket cement on the water outlets over there on the manifold, so it's all ready to put on there. So here goes. Wish me luck. Okay, so front is this way. Whoops. One more here. All lined up with the holes. Yes, they are. There. Want to slide down. I just took the studs off because I had studs holding them. Oops, Jesus. Just got myself full of. Pretty cool. Okay, well, don't look now, but those are tight. Okay, water pump is next. I got the gaskets glued on the block with some studs. Gonna put some gasket cement on the back side of the water pump and stick it on there. Come on. I did it again, sorry. Left you facing the workbench the whole time. All right, well, I got the water pump cinched down and I got this bracket on and cinched down. Forgot to turn the camera around when after doing the thing at the workbench. Sorry. All right, there's a water pump. I'll leave this on. I'll show you putting the alternator on. But what I'm doing now is putting the pulley on the water pump, and then I'm going to go get a belt and adjust the alternator. So I know there's a really tight clearance on the car, on the truck, between the fan pulley and the electric fan. So what I'm putting on here is simply a 1/4 inch button head Allen's, no washer, and Loctite. No washer of any kind, not even flat. And Loctite. There goes a little blue Loctite. I like that stuff in the lipstick too. It works well. I guess this works all right too. This is 51 1/8. Not much longer. Wow, looks like it's just gonna make it. Just makes it. That's a little on the loose side. ½ inch. Are you running? Yes. Okay. Let's see if I can adjust this. That's good. I have to put gaskets on these yet, but I just want to see how it looks. Okay, what do you think? More to go, obviously. This has to go on there. we got to swivel because so this has to head up into the radiator and clear the temperature sender for the fan. There's two temperature senders on this motor. One for the gauge in the dashboard, and one for the electric fan. Okay, I'll put this little piece on. It's this little piece here. This little piece that goes on the fuel pump takes the fuel back down around to this point over here, like a bulkhead fitting, and then a flexible hose goes to the fuel line that's on the frame rail. A little custom piece that Scott figured out. We were having a hard time with this because the fuel line was facing the wrong. We couldn't get the fuel line facing anywhere where it would work for us. This fitting is some bastard dimension. Mexican socket set dimension, you know, crescent wrench. It's not 11/16, not 5/8, it's Asian, I guess. So we'll use the one size fits all wrench. Because I'm trying to hold the fitting while the bulkhead fitting while I tighten the nut. And it's not making it easy. We got company coming. Yep. Hello. Camera's running.
Oh, the color match is pretty good. Oh,
Seems like. I didn't even look, but yeah, it seems like. There.
I'm surprised a crescent wrench.
Hmm?
I said I'm surprised a crescent wrench.
Well, I ended up with I put the nut on the bulkhead was kind of big for anything else, so brought the crescent wrench over. That ought to work. That ought to work. Come on. What do you think?
The plating is a lot nicer this time. That piece looked not so
I know.
good.
That's why I brought it back. I told him he was a little. I said we were working around it, and the color's coming out. Good morning. Welcome back to Blue Heinz Garage. There he is, right there. Welcome. Today is Tuesday. No, Monday. Wait a minute. It's Tuesday, June 17th. And we're back at the Blue Heinz Garage. Today's kind of just a catch-up day. In the life of kind of a day, I've got to get rid of that rack, that hanging thing, that rack thing that I made for doing the painting all the smaller parts. You noticed this is progressed. We've got the intake manifold permanently attached. The water pump is attached. You see the alternator is attached with the belt and everything. Got that little fuel line on that runs the fuel over to that's the suction side of the fuel pump. It's pulling the fuel out of the tanks. So, and it was the wrong side of the fuel pump. The fittings are all in the front and the tanks are in the back. So we created this to a little bulkhead kind of a fitting on the other side of this line, and then it goes flexible tube from there to the frame where the line leads back to a selector switch picking from the left or right hand fuel tank. Anyway, all that's done. More parts have been stuck here on attached to the transmission. See all the yellow stuff, the gold stuff? Those are oil lines, oil cooling lines. That's, what do I call that, a modulator or something like that? Governor and a little bail for the governor, the speedometer stuff, the case vent, all that stuff's been attached to the transmission. The oil pan, the permanent oil pan's on there with the plug in it now. So this is close to being ready to mate up these two pieces. Also put 5 quarts of oil in this and the oil filter. These are temporary. This just to keep it clean. The permanent ones are here. We're just trying to keep them out of harm's way temporarily. All powder painted. So like I said, it's got oil in it now. I ran the oil pump with the drill. Circulate the oil. I mean, this is not a fresh motor. It's been on the run stand. It's not even recent. This motor was freshened up, God, at least 10 years ago. More like, I don't remember if I did this after I retired or before I retired. Wait a minute. Haley was this is more like 15 years ago. Haley helped me put this together and she was a teenager in high school. Holy cow. She's 28 now. Time flies when you're having fun. And a whole bunch is having fun is remodeling your house, remodeling other people's houses, helping them, doing all the stuff that needs to get done, dealing with rentals, whatever. Anyway, back to where we started here. This is going to go away. The carts are going to get put where they belong in the pit over there in storage. Get them out of here. You see, put the solenoid back on the starter motor, took all the tape stuff off. The plated starter mounting bolts are stuck in there temporarily. The coil is back over here. All the hanging stuff is pulled off of it. Hanging for painting is pulled off of it. And I got a whole list. I've got this list that I'm going to do. You see, it's almost two-sided. So that's what we're going to work on today. Okay, first thing I'm going to do here is take the engine and the transmission and get it out of this area. I need to put the chassis, back over here in this area where it's been living since we started putting it back together. So these are going to go over here inside the legs of the cherry picker. They'll both fit in that space, and they'll leave area for the chassis to go. The chassis got to come off the lift because I'm going to bring the 57 over here and put it on the lift and change the oil. It's still got the oil in it from when we finished putting it together roughly 2020, which is 5 years now. It's got 1,000 miles on it. It doesn't have a lot of use, but it's still got the oil, the break-in oil that was in the motor, and it's time to get rid of that. Past time to get rid of that. So while I'm kind of between big things on this assembly, I'm gonna bring the 57 over here. I got the carburetor all set up now, so it's not. I can drive it. I mean, it's fun to drive it. I can drive it all the time, but it's fun to drive it. It's probably gonna get used more, and it's time to change that oil. Well, it's past that time, but I need the rack to do that, the lift to do that. So first thing I'm gonna do is move the engine and the transmission over into this space. Okay, you ready? Here goes. Okay, well, that's a start. Okay, well, it's time to take this thing apart.
Rest of
This stuff all goes over there. See that open door? It goes in there. I call the pit. It's my little mini warehouse here, on-site mini warehouse. So anyway, I won't bore you with all of that. Okay, well, it's time to put them all to bed for today. 57's here up on the lift. Oil's drained, filters removed. I haven't greased it yet, but I did clean all the fittings, so that'll happen. Looks good underneath. It still actually even looks kind of clean underneath. See? Not much in the way of drips. One drop under the pan, one drop under the dust shield, flywheel, dust shield, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. It's pretty dry. Not completely, but pretty dry. And no spots on the floor in the garage. So, like I said, I'm pretty happy. Put another filter on it tomorrow, put oil in it. Oop. Obviously, solid lifter oil, you know, phosphorus. I have a whole case from way back when. I don't even know how old it is, but I have a case and then a few more bottles of the stuff that's okay for these engines. And after that, I'll start buying additive, I guess. Anyway, see you later. Hello there. Welcome back to Blue Heinz Garage. We got a different animal in here right today. Just restarted that. I just got finished. I've worked on this a couple of times. I haven't done it all at once, but since the lift was available, I brought this in to change the oil. Just put new oil in it and started it up to make sure the oil filter or nothing else was leaking. It's probably almost warmed up by now. Got 40 pounds of oil pressure at idle. There it is. Yeah, it sounds like it's warmed up by now. Yeah, it is. Radiator's hot. So here we go. It's running much nicer now that that guy came and changed the metering rods and put the step-up springs in it, the right one. Those aren't in play right now, but the metering rods certainly are. It starts up way quicker. It moves away from a stop sign way nicer. Made a huge difference, like a whole different car. Anyway, gonna turn this off. I'm about done with it. I just gotta clean it now. And I'm quite happy, like I showed you already, the underside is nice and clean. I'm gonna wipe it down a bit underneath and probably the engine compartment too. Right now I'm headed to Oil Parts and the paint supplier. I ordered some touch-up paint for all this purple stuff, whatever you call that, maroon, burgundy stuff, to cover areas like right here. You see right here where it's bare casting. Anyway, stuff like that. I ordered some stuff that I can brush on, single stage. I'm gonna go pick that up, and I need on this one I greased it. I found that one of these was broken on the tie rod end. So I'm going to see if I can get another one of those at the auto parts store and exchange that belt. When I bought the belt for that maroon motor, I bought two of them, a shorter one and a longer one. The longer one is just long enough. You got to kind of not pry it, but stretch it as much as you can to get it on the pulley. And then it tightens up real nice. Well, this one's a little shorter. I'm going to see if I can get one that's the next size. This one was too short. And it's 51 and an eighth. No, the one that's on there is 51 and an eighth. So I'm going to see if I can get one that's 52 inches. So I'll just have a spare.